They say he came from Memphis, maybe it was St. Joe. And how he learned to eat a pussy, we'll never know. The sexual on his lips was so amazingly strong. His tongue was moving faster than a singing the song. A dilly bop, 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 a dilly twat, twat, twat. He was stationed in Iraq, and how thrilling that is. The general's wife went out about the sound of his. She asked him if he couldn't spare her one night. He said he couldn't do it if it didn't taste right, but he gave a love, so everyone would know. He's the cuddling's champion of Company C.
Oh, gorgeous! Italian from Rome. Big brown eyes, long, thick, wavy hair. Speaking of long and thick, we used to call him Private Pepperoni. He was very popular. I miss him.
Now let's tell you about this old general's wife. You never saw a more enormous twat in your life. Her legs were ready to spread, the national anthem was sung. And when she came, she almost amputated his tongue. He was down on his knees, cause he was bound to please the cuddling's champion of Company C. 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 This he was great, he licked my butt. The cuddling's champion of Company C.
Hello, welcome to Rob and the Queen. So this is going to be our kickoff for the first episode of what I'm hoping will be a weekly chat show where I'm going to bring on different drag queens, performers from the gay community, queer artists of all kind, maybe even some bartenders that you know from your favorite bars, whoever we can get. I think it'll be a lot of fun for us to just have a nice, casual, fun chat. A few bits of business before I bring in our special guests. You probably just saw them in our opening credits, which I'm pretty proud. We have opening credits. How cool is that? You saw that we're tonight going to have the legendary Blue Star, and of course from 2 seasons of your favorite reality show, Pawn Stars, Roxxxy Andrews is here, and she is going to make it clear. But I loved creating those credits because we just had like the way their little faces popped up, and that made me so happy. So that brought me a ton of joy to create that. Also, don't forget, feel free to comment along. I'll be reading your comments as we go. If you have questions for our guests, ask them into the group because we'll get that going. This is as much my talk show with them as it is with you. Mike Avila wants to know, where's Raul Esperanza? I'm sure that's something that I would get, but I don't. Oh, that's right. That's right. Tonight is, we're up against some big competition. It is Stephen Sondheim's 90th birthday party. So there's that. Thank you for choosing to hang out with me and some drag queens instead of a really old composer and a whole bunch of awesome Broadway stars. So I appreciate that. Let me see if we lose any visitors who are like, oh, I forgot that was happening right now. So don't forget, send your comments into the group. I love to see them. For some reason right now, our system isn't letting me put them on screen, but that's okay. That's the only one I have is StreamYard, looking for viewer comments. So, but I'll be reading along and I'll be able to comment on them. I want to know your questions for our guests because we have some great people here. Also, I want to know what's going on with all of you guys. What's happening in your lives? This and my Thursday night isolation happy hours, those are the only times I get to see all your names and get your comments. So I love that. That's for me. I stand you right back, Caesar. So thank you. Also, keep in mind, you guys are seeing this. About a minute after it actually happens. So I'm actually talking to you from the future right now, which is pretty incredible. Just so you know, a minute from now, the cure hasn't been found. We're still all hanging out inside. So sorry for that. Also, make sure you go ahead and pour yourself a drink. This is a show that's going to be best enjoyed while drinking. And if you're sober, pour yourself a big old glass of water and join us with that. It'll make you really have to pee by the end, and then you'll feel nice and skinny. And that's something we're always proud of. So without further ado, I want to bring in my guests so we can get to chatting with them. So first of all, like I said, you know her from 2 seasons of your absolute favorite reality show, Duck Dynasty. This is the one and only. Her name has 3 X's in it. Roxxxy Andrews. Clap where you are. Just be at home and clap so it feels like a live show. There we are. And it's Roxxxy.
Hey, I'm here.
Hi, Roxxxy.
I'm trying to sign on to look at comments and stuff, but I don't know. I think we're lagged like really bad.
Yeah, we're a minute ahead of, like, they see this a minute.
In the future.
Yeah. So a minute from now, we'll be able to answer. But Zachary Hines in the live has called you a skinny legend. So.
Oh, I wish, but thank you. I'll take it.
I love when someone who made their catchphrase thick and juicy is called a skinny legend. It's great.
Right.
But you do look like a significantly less mass than you had before.
Yeah, we'll see. Quarantine. They said the COVID-19 pounds. So we'll see how everybody looks in person. If they tell you look skinny, that means you did good. If they tell you like you lost weight, that's good. But if they tell you nothing, then that means you ate.
Oh, you look so pretty.
You look like you had a good time.
I love a girl who embraces her curves.
Oh yes, always.
I love that. So it's so exciting to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Is this your first one?
This is the first one. We're kicking it off. This is the first 7 minutes of this show.
I have my bedazzled background.
I love that. I have my very expensive.
I said we were in the same thing.
Top quality. The only thing left at Target that hasn't been ransacked.
Oh Lord.
Backdrop right there. And Jonathan Detweiler, otherwise known as J-Det, just wants to say that he loves his Orlando family, so that's great because you are a part of.
Oh yay! Oh, I see. Okay, I'm looking at comments now. I don't see us, but I'm looking at comments.
You're catching up. Well, so obviously, many viewers know you from RuPaul's Drag Race season 5, All Stars 2. If they're here in Orlando, they know you as the diva of Southern Nights.
Yes.
If you're an old school Orlandoan like me, we know you from like every single club, and then
right.
And pageant system.
And Pulse and Southern and Parliament, and I've been everywhere.
Exactly. And there's someone else I want to bring in, our other guest, who also has spent plenty of time in the Orlando community. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the founder of Varieties, which I believe is still one of the top-selling shows at the Orlando International Fringe Festival of all time. She is the creator of Blue La La's Ladyboys and the Peekaboo Lounge. She is the owner of the Venue Orlando, and she's just an all-around amazing human being. This is the one and only Blue Star.
Hey, twinning!
And she's like twinning.
Okay, now I have to ask about that because since I've posted about doing this show on every post, the two of you write in all caps twinning. So what is that about? Why? What is the twinning?
Well, every time I see Blue, it's like 90% sure. I'm surprised we're both not wearing gray right now, or both black. We're always wearing the same color hair. Well, she's always blonde, but the hair or the outfit, something on us is identical, and we're like, come on, twinning.
Twinning. Like we're always matching.
Blue?
Like, no
Blue,
matter
we can't
what.
hear you.
Oh, sorry.
I can't hear her.
I can hear you. Right. You can't hear Blue?
Mm-mm.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
But she looks pretty.
Twinning.
If you in the room can hear Blue, hit the heart button. We'll know in a minute if they hear you or not. I don't know why.
I mean, I can hear me, so that's.
I don't know, do you want to put me out and put me back in? Does that work like that?
Sure, we'll put you in timeout and see what happens.
Yeah.
So now it's just us while Roxy's in timeout. Okay, well, they're in the room, which is good. So let's see what Roxy does.
Okay.
Roxy's back. Can you hear us now?
Hello.
Talk.
Hello.
I can't hear Blue.
What?
If you have headphones, maybe put those in and see what happens.
Okay, let me go get them.
So we're gonna just chat with Blue for a moment. So Blue, what's been going on? How's your time of isolation been? You're staying at home?
Yeah, staying at home, and I think being as confused as everybody else. I think this is like a true mental marathon for us all. And, some days are good and some days you're not good. And, I think everybody just needs to be kind of like patient with one another, because this is definitely something that none of us have ever experienced before. So, it's crazy. This is a crazy time.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, none of us have been through anything like this. It's new for a lot of us. I part of the reason why I wanted to create these shows. Oh, you froze for a moment. But hopefully you're still alive with us because you're the last one left. Oh, good, you're still here. But
I'm here.
Part of why I wanted to create these shows is because I've been I'm staying alone. So like it's just me and 2 dogs in the house. So like this is my time to have human contact. Are you alone? Do you have people with you? What's your isolation plan?
Oh, the infamous Myrna Smith, she lives in my house, and so she keeps me occupied and sane. And we have people in our world that we call as are part of our quarantine. Yeah. And they're people that like where they have been, if they've been just in their houses and just to your house. And I know like everything is always just so complicated because like I said, none of us have ever done this before. But I have a few people that can come by and we are safe and we're still socially distanced. But they can come in the house and they can take off their shoes when they get here and they can go in the pool and they can leave. But yeah, Myrna and Sunday are the ones that are always in the house here. So Myrna's actually outside watching you.
Okay. Hi, Myrna. Thanks for watching along. I think that I need to also create my quarantine because right now it's just been me. So like the only time I'm seeing any human beings other than myself is either on live feeds or what I've started doing is I take a walk through my neighborhood every day. I do like an hour to a 2-hour walk just from my neighborhood. If you follow me on Facebook, you've seen that I've run into some friction with some peacocks in the process.
Oh my gosh, you've had so much peacock drama lately. What the hell?
More peacock drama than you would think, especially as someone who like for years had a show at the Peacock Lounge. I love brightly colored feathers.
I've never been so drunk in my life except for at the Peacock Lounge.
Oh, that was responsible for so many blackouts in my life.
Yeah, because because the show was like 3 hours long at that point in time.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, I used to do a show called Pepe's Truth or Dare with Pepe, and Blue was the co-host, and we did the show at this little bar that I love called the Peacock Lounge. It was the smoky, dirty art bar that we just loved so much. But those shows were 3 hours long, and we would drink and do shots during the show. It was a mess. And speaking of messes, let's see if Roxxxy is operational. Roxxxy, can you hear us? Blue,
I can hear you.
Oh my God, I'm on top of you right now. What are you doing?
I see you in the middle.
Look,
yeah, I don't know what happened, and then I put my headphones on, and then I just went out and back into work.
So sometimes you just got to turn it off and turn it back on again.
Oh yes.
I don't know if anybody's tried that yet with COVID. Just like unplug it and plug it back in, see what happens.
Let's start all over.
Exactly. So Roxxxy, who are you quarantined with? Are you on your own? Do you have people with you? Oh, now we'll never know.
Of course, I'm getting a phone call. God damn it.
That's how it works.
Now I can hear you again. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, what kind of phone call was that? Who was it?
So it was some kind of crazy phone call. He said he lost the audio when he got the phone call. You know what I love, though, is that this right now, what's happening where like things crash and then you got to bring someone else in and then you got to try it again. This is the new norm of entertainment. Like it's just expected. This happens in news conferences and everywhere, every business meeting now.
Third time is a charm, so it's got to be working now.
You're back, see? I feel like...
No, but I have my sister and my nephew are with me, and it's just been a little stir crazy, like just, stuck in a house. And I'm always fine if I'm not told to do something. But like in school, when they used to be like, don't say anything, be quiet. I'm like I just want to say something. Right. But it's like when you're told to do something, it's a little more difficult.
It is weird. I keep saying like, when I'm crazy busy, because, all three of us are people who take on every gig possible, right? Knowing the three of us, we are all gig people. So we're like, give us a gig, we will take it. And we will probably ask for 6 more to fill up our calendars. And I'm always going, I just need a break where all I do is sit at home and not go anywhere. And now that I have it, it's driving me nuts. I'm like, I need to be doing 20,000.
I'm constantly on the road and flying and going and working. And it's like when they finally, and I had just moved. So I was like, oh, I wish I had time to like stay home because I was going on the Haters Roast tour. And that whole thing I was ready to be on the road for 2 months. And it was like, oh, well, that all got canceled. I was in Canada first. That got canceled first.
Oh, you just got hated on. Can you hear us? Did you lose us? There she goes. Oh. And then you froze too. So I love this. Blue, I wish.
I'm telling you, I call that our energy, our angel energy going on around us. Like, we get interference.
And somebody just keeps calling and they keep calling. It's like they probably see me on the line. But
So
no, those things got canceled.
stop
It's like
calling.
when those things got canceled, it was like, okay, well, I guess this is really happening. And now I'm home and I get to move and enjoy the new house and stuff. But it's like, I need to get back to work.
Yeah.
But you know what I've found, especially because like we don't have, obviously we can't go and congregate. However, I still have like meetings and Zoom meetings and all of that kind of stuff. And I've just found that I just really suck at that right now. And that I'm late to every meeting that I've had. Like last week, I was late to every single one, which that's not like me at all. And I just kind of suck at working right now, which is really
Yes, it's
right.
weird. Like, I'm used to being so busy and working like crazy.
Yeah.
And so this week I had like this live. I did my live on Thursday night. I was the director for Stay In With Pride that we did last night that you co-hosted. Yeah. It was awesome. And I'm going to teach some virtual improv classes. So I actually like stuff I had to get done. And when I really told it up, I was like, oh, I did about 8 hours worth of work over 5 days. But that was so exhausting.
Like that. I suck at working right now. I don't even understand. Like,
it is weird. It's
so weird. Or I love it right now when people are like, so people like us actually have an opportunity to put your phone down, twinning.
Well, I'm texting the people that are calling to stop calling.
You're like, leave me alone. I'm doing the thing.
Leave me alone. And keep
so
going.
you can put your phone away, and like as soon as you put your phone away for like a second, then all of a sudden everybody's like, "Oh, okay. So hope you had a great day," and you're like, "Seriously, it's been 10 minutes, and I might have just put my phone down." And I know you're not used to that, but you know what? There's a pandemic, and I'm just gonna like chill out for a second, like. Our responses don't have to be like right away. We can take a minute.
No, take the breather.
Right?
Enjoy the peace.
Enjoy the peace.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, if there's one thing I hope all of us and like everybody learns from all of this, it's like, oh, the world can exist if I'm not on a phone call every 5 seconds. Like,
well, I don't know because I got my little. I guess the phones and the iPads tell you how long you've been the day before.
Oh yeah.
It was like 8 hours. Was it today? You were not as long as yesterday. 8 hours something. I was like, I was on the phone for 8 hours throughout the day.
Yeah, our screen time is
scrolling.
Yeah, for sure. So, what is for both of you? Like, what's the thing that, like, as soon as quarantine's over, this is what you have to do? What is the thing for you that, like, you're like, I gotta go and do this as soon as it's over? That's not work, because I know we all want to get back and work. But for you guys, what's like the one thing that you're like, as soon as we're able to do it, you're gonna do?
I want to go to the mall. Like, I
really?
just want to. You don't know how many people laugh. They're like, "Oh, she's always shopping." No.
Yeah.
Like, it's a calmness of just going and window shopping and be like, "Oh, I want to get that. Oh, it's the holidays," or it's like it's just. I go to Starbucks, get a coffee, and just walk all the stores.
Yeah, I do. Starbucks is what I miss because, like, I'm a Starbucks addict, and I miss just like walking into Starbucks. Kind of leaves. It's like my downtime is getting a drink and like walking around. So I get that. What about you, Blue?
I want to go to like Cress and sit down and have amazing service and a glass of wine, and I want to order delicious food, and I want them to bring it to me in the best way possible, and I want them to scrape I want them to scrape my table with that little thing. And I want red pudding and cappuccino to come, and I just want to like eat a freaking good meal and somebody serve it to me. That's what I want.
I really miss servers. Like, I miss going to a restaurant.
And they miss us. They miss us too much.
Yes, they do.
I just want them to use the bread scraper thing.
Yeah.
Where they wipe the table with it. Like,
yes, you.
Yeah, ma'am. Especially at Crest.
It's the best. Oh, Crest is like, meat.
Yeah. Well, and here, like, I've been cooking more because I can. So I have nothing but time. So I've been cooking a whole bunch, but I try to like once or twice a week still order out just to kind of support local places.
Me too.
But you can only get everything to go or Uber Eats or one of those. And so I'm like, I want to eat at a restaurant and not be served out of styrofoam or like plasticware.
I don't think that's going to change for a very long time.
It might not.
I think we're looking at a whole lot of plastic silverware. We're going to look at plastic plates, something like that, like paper, not paper, but something, and the world, how do you call it? It's so bad. It's going to be so bad because there's going to be so many plastic cups and plastic.
It's going to be terrible for the environment. Yeah.
The environment is going to be horrible because
Wait, is that the word you were searching for? Was environment? Were you like, what do you?
Listen, no judgment during COVID. No judgment.
People laugh about sequenced on Drag Race, and if they only knew and followed me and saw me on a daily basis, I have those moments all the time.
Yeah, your legendary sequence moment on season 5 was such a that's just Roxxxy.
I'm like, if y'all only knew, like, there's so many moments.
Word.
But yeah, environment.
Environment.
Our environment is in danger. Molly, you in danger.
Molly, you in danger. And Carlin in our live says that he misses Olive Garden and being served unlimited breadsticks. So there's that. Now you only get like 5 to go.
Can't you order from Olive Garden?
Wait, what?
You can, but it's not unlimited. They just kind of give you, I think, that I would assume they just give you a few.
Wait, what?
What?
I don't ever go there.
Olive Garden? I never go there.
Bringing you breadsticks? Like, this is like they just keep bringing it to you.
They do keep
I don't know.
yeah. Like, as you finish them, a new basket usually appears.
Do you ever go to Red Lobster?
Red Lobster.
Oh my god, I love the Red Lobster.
The way they keep bringing you bread, it's endless.
Potato on the side with mozzarella sticks. Oh yes, I mean with ketchup and
but it's endless. They just keep bringing biscuits. They just keep going.
Yeah, like how at Red Lobster though, at Red Lobster they're sneaky because they bring you that first thing and then you eat it and you're like, where? I would like another basket, and that's when they're missing, right? That's when they hide because they have a strategy where they're like,
the only time you get a lot of bread is when it's like endless something.
Right.
Like endless shrimp, you're gonna get a lot of bread.
And they're like, here's all the biscuits.
I love endless shrimp.
So now we know we love some endless shrimp.
Can we go to Red Lobster when this is all
right?
set?
Let's go get some bread.
Can they do endless shrimp when this is all over so we can get a lot of biscuits?
I think it's in September. I've probably gone to Red Lobster like 5 times in my life, and I know when the endless shrimp is.
I actually love Red Lobster. Like, it's one of my guilty pleasures of just
same.
Give me that crappy mass-produced seafood, and I am in.
Oh, Cindy's in here. Hi, Cindy.
Hey, Cindy.
Barbara?
Quarters in here. And a few people in the live have said they miss going to Southern Nights. I do as well.
Yeah.
Both of you are performers at Southern Nights. Roxxxy, you're there every Tuesday and Thursday. Blue's there
Saturday.
Any gathering in general, like a bar. Like before, I have a whole new mentality on it. Like before, I saw a bar as work. Oh, well, let me go clock in. Let me go do a job. And I enjoyed my job. It was, getting dolled up, getting dressed, do my wig. What am I going to perform tonight? But now I took a lot of it for granted, like the actual socializing and where are my friends and where can I meet new people? Like I miss that whole aspect of it.
Yeah.
Like put the show to the side. I don't even care if I'm working. Like I just want the bar to be open so we can. It's family. It's our family. It's our church. Yeah.
And seeing behind the curtain of bad decisions on Saturday.
Yeah.
The curtain of bad decisions. Anyone who's been in the theater at Southern Nights knows that curtain is some trouble.
I would do anything to sit behind the curtain of bad decisions right now.
Just sit in a little huddle like you guys do.
Yeah. That's so if you don't know, at Southern Nights they have a show bar, which is where they do the drag show most nights. Some nights they do it on the dance floor, but it has this lovely curtain, and you can kind of go behind the curtain if you're a performer there. And this is where we kind of huddle up and just kind of like drink our drinks and like talk our.
It's the secret area until somebody comes back there that I don't want, and it's all hell. They're like, Roxxxy's in there.
Space. No, you
gotta and then it's all over. Friggin'
I also miss what I miss about clubs that I didn't realize I was going to miss is the acquaintances, the people that are not quite your friends, but like you say hi to them every time you see them.
All the time.
And I'm like, I didn't realize how much I miss those people that I don't necessarily like even get into conversation with. It's just like you get your drink and you're like, hey girl, and you walk by.
The people you would just leave. Hey girl.
Hey, girl. You do the drive by.
Yes.
That you're like, oh, I gotta go so that I can stand over here and do nothing, but I gotta beeline past you to do that. I miss those people. So if you're one of those people, know that we miss you.
And hey girl.
Hey girl, gotta go.
Girl. Very busy.
Hey girl, I'm gonna go over here.
Someone,
It's gonna be here
someone
because I'm gonna go over here.
I gotta go over there. I gotta go to Juan. I'll be back. I gotta.
My thing is, I'm always looking for my check. Girl, I gotta get paid. Let me go get my check real quick. It's
That's a
always
good one.
it can be the beginning of the morning. Girl, let me go get my check. Girl, you know I'm about to I'll be right back. Okay? It's okay, girl. Now and sometimes I mean it, but I'm just saying.
That's weird. Every time I see you there, you're on your way to go get paid, Roxy. What's
like, I have to find Greg because they know Greg usually. I'm like, I have to find Greg. I gotta go get my pay. You know I gotta get my pay, girl. Yeah, see you later. Hey girl. You're laughing.
My excuse is really the worst. I always go, oh, my friend is throwing up, and I leave.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
I promise I'll never make that excuse again. I just want to be at the bar.
I know. I regret you.
It's so true. You take it for granted, and you every day. It's like every day on Saturday when 10:30 rolls around, I'm like, I just want to be walking into the dressing room and being like, hey sis, what's up? Hey sis, and then what song are you doing?
Sleep schedules.
I'm going to bed usually about 5 or 6 a.m. every night. Like I'm just up.
And Blue?
No, I'm like, I'll go to bed early, then I wake up at 2, then I go back to sleep, and then I wake up at 4, then I put meditation music on, and then I wake up at 6, and then I'm up, and then I nap at like noon. It's crazy.
Bitch, I'm asleep. The latest I think I've been asleep throughout this whole thing was 11 p.m. Up at like 7 to 9 every morning.
Oh, really? So you're living the life.
No nap. I used to take at least an hour nap before work. No naps. There's no reason to be tired. Like I'm just, and then wake up, rinse and repeat all over again.
See,
I've been talking about their dreams too. Like everybody's having like weird dreams.
I haven't.
Oh, really? I've had a lot of weird dreams.
Yeah.
About what?
Yeah.
Am I missing out? Do I need to have a weird dream?
You should have some weird dreams. You're missing out.
What? I don't think I remembered any of my dreams.
That's because
I usually do, but I haven't throughout all this.
Interesting. So someone in the group asked this question of you, Roxy, and of Blue. What is the first song that you're dying to perform when the club's open? Is there like a song that you're like, when we come back?
In the world.
What'd you say?
In the world.
In the world.
And I feel fine. I feel fine.
We have something from Dua Lipa.
You and
Wow.
You know,
I love her album,
yeah. Dua Lipa, I was like, for me, because her album dropped like right as we all went into quarantine, and it happens to be a really good album. Like it's one of those few albums where I can listen to every song straight through and enjoy it all. That's been like, I think when the world reopens, it's going to be weird to hear music from that album because it's like, it's such a moment.
It's old now.
Well, and it's all connected to like this, to what we're doing and to this isolation. Do you have any other songs that like make you think of like every time you hear that song, it brings you to a specific moment in time or place?
Oh, a bunch of songs.
Yeah. Are you crazy? That's what we do. That's what like varieties is. Like everything that you can think of like has a marker. We've talked about that before as like being artists. Like each song is a representation of a time that you were been in. Like if you are in a relationship, if you're not in a relationship, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you are, like growing or like coming of age, like everything kind of has its marker. Like when I moved to Orlando, Sammy and Angel, that was my first show that I ever performed at Southern Nights 20 years ago. Yeah, 20 years. Crazy.
Wow.
Freaking crazy. But then like, as far as like,
old.
I know.
It's weird. You were 4 years old when you did your first gig at Southern.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes. Yeah. My mom she was very supportive. I was so lucky as a child. She was very fast forward for a Southern woman. And it was
You know, Blue, I have to say though, so you and I obviously are good friends now. We've worked together dozens of times, but when I first met you was like, I would say the very early 2000s, maybe. You were at Southern Nights and you were performing as Baby Blue back then before you were Blue Star.
Yeah,
and
sometimes you gotta grow up.
It's what has to happen. You can't be a baby forever. I'm just trying to stall long enough for you to unfreeze. There you are. So no. I remember going to Southern Nights and seeing you perform. And for me, like as a young little gay boy, it kind of blew my mind because you were the first female performer at a gay bar that I ever saw. And I remember just being amazed by you because you came out and like everybody was like, oh, this is Baby Blue. You have to watch her. And you were this like tiny little fierce powerhouse entertaining all the gay men and lesbians that were there. And I was like, I want to know her. I want to be her friend. I love that that's now happened in our worlds. But what was that like for you being a female performer in gay bars? What, like, before that was before bio queens were really known as a thing?
Yeah. I think, I was a ballet dancer, and when I was in Atlanta, I went to my first drag show at Backstreet, and I saw Charlie Brown and Raven and Heather Daniels and Mocha Montrese, and it was crazy. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but I remember being like, that's what I want to do. Like, drag was an amazing thing. And when I moved from New York to here and started working at Southern Nights, Cindy Barbalog really gave me that opportunity to, Lesbo Go-Go was a thing. And I think
Lesbo Go-Go.
I
remember that.
And yeah, Lesbo Go-Go. Hello, y'all. Mm-hmm. And I think I always was honored and so respectful of the queens. And every time I was able to step on the stage with a queen meant everything to me. It was like the utmost respect. And I was just fortunate enough to be respected and welcomed into that. And then my drag mother, Mimi Marks, she's the most beautiful. And then all my sisters that came along, and you know what? It was a really cool thing. I remember the first time that I hosted at the Parliament House for Darcel, and that's the first time a female has ever hosted a Sunday drag show. And I'm just going to tell you that I will never forget that a day in my life, because I've never felt so uncomfortable on stage ever.
Really?
Why were you uncomfortable?
It was crazy. Roxy, I was in the 7:00 show that was on the dance floor, and it was me and a bunch of gay men at 7:00 on a Sunday. And they were looking at me.
Still twirling.
Yeah, they just were like, okay. And I was like, shh, I have 2 more shows of this. But you know what?
Wrong gig.
Not the right gig. So I think... Yeah, I want to come back to the wrong gig thing. But first, I want to talk to Roxy once you're done with that sip of coffee. So that's a little bit of how kind of Blue you got started in those clubs. How did you get started in the world of drag entertainment, Roxy?
Oh, my God. I was doing Miss Sammy and Carol Lee's Anything Goes talent contest at Parliament House.
And Miss Sammy, we opened the show with a performance from her tonight that she recorded. She actually did it for Staying with Pride, and we decided it was too dirty, so we used it tonight. But sorry, go ahead.
No, I love Sammy. She was there from the beginning. A lot of people were. Blue was around the beginning of my career too. But don't do it, Blue. But
wait. I'll interject in a second.
But no, I was doing those and then I actually did the Tuesday night talent contest for Hip Hop Night at Parliament too. I would bounce around and do little talent contests. That's how I did it. And then I started doing pageants when Deranged made me do a pageant. She's like, girl, you got everything. Come on, we're going to get you ready for a pageant. And there she went.
Oh, now you, so you did the pageant world. That's how I first met you. I think I first met you at Pulse way back in the day when you were like the Pulse diva. And I hadn't met you yet, but you were on stage and somebody said to me like, oh, she's the pageant queen. Like, she won't talk to you. She's a pageant queen. And then I met you in person and I was like, what do you mean she won't talk to you? I said hi and she said hi. Like, that's how conversations happen. But
people get like that. I don't know why.
I think it's always funny. Like, people see you on stage and they just assume you are a certain way.
The weirdest thing I think that and most drag queens, and I'm not the only one, or entertainers in general get, is people are like, "Oh, I was so intimidated to say hi." So, this I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about 90% of entertainers or in the entertainment business. People, because we go on stage, they feel like we're gonna be like untouchable or untalk-toable. I think I just made up another word.
Untalkable.
Yeah. It's gonna be like that kind of thing, and that's not how it is. We're very approachable. We're humans. Stop laughing.
Actually, I had friends who came here for EDC Orlando back in like October or November, and I said hi to you, and they were like, "Oh, you know Roxxxy Andrews?" And I was like, "Roxxxy? Yeah, I know Roxxxy. Go say hi." And they were like, "Oh, I can't." And I was like, "Go fucking say hi to her." And they were like, "Oh, I like her." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's why you should say hi and tell her you like her as a performer." Like,
yeah.
No performer doesn't want to hear that you enjoy us.
Right. Who doesn't want to hear that they enjoyed the show or that it's so nice to meet you? We all do.
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
Now you got your start really, like, you started pushing in the world of pageants. You recently kind of made some statements about pageants that you don't really think they're the thing for you. What are you still like, no more pageants in my world? Or
well, because when I did the pageant, the main reason was because it was my drag mother's anniversary, and I said I would always go back for her anniversary and give it one more hoorah. But the other reason I was going to is because coming off of Drag Race and being a Drag Race girl, people are like, "Oh, well, pageantry's dead, and you know that's not where the money is anymore," and that's not where the money is anymore. But it's still something we pageant girls, we love to compete. Anybody who competes, whether it's cheerleading or I remember in high school I was a thespian. We used to do the little competitions and stuff like that. But it's just in the competition world, it's still fun and it's still very much alive. So I just wanted to go there and express, that even though I'm a RuPaul's Drag Race girl, this still matters to me, and this is where I started. And that whole shebang, it didn't work out, but that was when it didn't work out. I saw that they want all of this change, but they're not willing to change themselves. Like they're not willing to evolve like drag has evolved.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So like, it's like, I still feel like if a girl, that's not, let's say like the beauty queen and not a comedy queen, like I feel like they will still do weirdly in a pageant and be judged inappropriately, because drag has evolved and shown so many different colors of it that in pageantry it's still the same mold. And that's not just continental, in all pageants.
Absolutely.
So I was just calling it out, like, you guys want to know why pageantry is dying, yet you don't open up to people that are different and their talent is different, and they're not, it's not all about a beautiful evening gown and a beautiful swimsuit. It's about other things.
Absolutely. And it's an interesting time in queer entertainment in general, because when you think back to like going to the clubs back in the day, it was like, okay, there's 3 drag queens that are the drag queens, and they kind of rule the roost. One of the things I was talking about that I think is really funny is when I was younger, the drag queens were always older. Like the drag queens who were like the established drag queens were always significantly older than most of us in the club, and that's not as much the case anymore. Drag has kind of gone super young now, to where people are like, "Oh, you're over 25." Oh, right.
It used to be put in your time. Girls who put in their time.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore. If you're good, you're getting in.
Yeah, and that's what, like, it's the competition is fierce, because also now, like, really bio queens have come up huge. What's the word? I'm forgetting the word. Androgynous queens are taking over.
All of it.
Yeah, Blue, you created Ladyboys really just as a place to kind of fit those, like, people who are not drag queens. They're just boys, but they don't necessarily fit any kind of gender stereotype out there.
And where do you be yourself? Yeah. There's no borders.
I absolutely love that. Yeah. That the drag community
be an amazing human that is so talented that we can't take our eyes off of you. Like, that's just really what it boils down to. It's like there's no gimmicks involved at this point in time. It's just like, it's just raw. Like, if it's great, it's great. And that is like a gift to us all. You know what I mean? Like, Sometimes you're like, oh my God, you're such a little fresh queen. Look how cute you are. I just want to like squeeze you. You know?
Yeah. Oh yes.
For sure. I want to backtrack a little bit though, because we talked about like Blue, your first night at that time that you did the show at Parliament House, and you realized you were like, "Ooh, this is the wrong gig for me." I do so. I play my character Pepe, who's ridiculously gay, flamboyant, crazy guy. And I remember one time I got booked on a gig for Fringe, which was at the Central Florida Fair. They decided to have all these fringe acts on the stage. And so I was booked at the Central Florida Fair. Beth Marshall had me as Pepe, and she goes, "Oh, just go around and talk to people." And if you've never been to the Central Florida Fair, not necessarily a place where a giant queer Latino character is very well accepted. So I, like, within 5 minutes of walking around, had a bunch of people like, get up in my face, and I was like, "This is the wrong gig.
Gotta go.
And go. I have to go. This is not the right place for me. I'm sorry, I can't do this gig." What gigs have you guys ever been on, or can you talk about a time that you were booked on the wrong gig? You don't have to name names unless you want to, but
I'm not gonna lie, but the Central Florida Fair for me was also awkward. Varieties was there. That was kind of an awkward one.
I think that was the same night.
I think so too. I can tell you that
the Central Florida Fair.
Yeah,
it was rough.
It was awkward. I can tell you that there's been some private events that have been awkward, and you find yourself like in people's foyers or foyers, no matter where you're from, foyers or foyers, and you're like doing a number, and you've just gotten dressed in their guest bathroom, and you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but there's 12 people that are enjoying their time. I don't know, like we are artists that are just trying to find our way. So sometimes you find yourselves in a lot of public bathrooms.
Yeah, the gig artists is very often times where you're getting ready in some bathroom that they've put a sign on. Says this is now
I love it. I'll get to gigs sometimes, and they'll like not off subject but on subject. I'll get to gigs sometimes, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. This is all we have," and it's like a little, not even a bathroom, but a little room. And they're like, "This is all we have, and we're you're used to all of these big." I'm like, "No, bitch. You don't drag race and celebrity, whatever you want to call it. It does not matter. We get ready wherever they have available." And sometimes it's worse than the other. I've been to places where it's a big ass convention room, and I'm like, "Well, I don't need this."
I don't need this entire room.
Yeah, like, hello, all by myself. But my thing about the gigs, it would be anywhere that's not used to or ready for whatever entertainment, like not properly prepared for what they're hiring or what they do. Like I've been to colleges that are in a theater and like lights and sound, it's beautiful. And then I've been to some colleges where they're like, what's your track? And they have a speaker. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no.
We put you in a classroom with just fluorescent lights that turn on or turn off.
Yeah, it's
Those
like
are the best lights for drag.
lighting. I need a spotlight. That's what I do. My drag is makeup, and it's not going to look the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think people understand that like drag requires a certain amount of lighting to. You're still a man, and
for certain reasons. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We do all that contour not just for the shits and giggles, but to look feminine. We're carving our faces out, and you're gonna not have any lighting. Then we're gonna look like a bunch of mud on our face.
So in the group, 2 questions that came up. One is, what would be your ideal gig? Like, what does the perfect gig look like to you if that were to come along right now? First of all, we're all going to say the same thing: the money.
The money.
As well.
I would love to be in a movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I've been like, I remember when we were filming Drag Race, and sometimes I've been to LA. I'll see like movies being filmed, and I'm like, I just want to be over there. Like even if I'm
you want to do that?
Yeah, like even if it's in front of the camera or behind the camera, like I want to be. And I love production. Like watching. I've never done it, but watching the productions.
Unfortunately, AJ and the Queen apparently is not getting a season 2, but if they were and RuPaul called you, would you do it?
Is there a check? I'll be there.
Okay. All right. Apparently there wasn't, but there's that.
No, someone got paid.
Okay. What's the perfect gig for you? RuPaul got paid.
Perfect gig. Perfect gig for me would be the opening ceremonies to the Olympics. I would love to produce that.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, like an opening ceremonies to some. I want a stadium. I want things to happen, and yeah, it would be.
What's Olympics?
Did I phrase?
You froze.
Olympics. Yeah, I would love it.
I actually, a few years ago, I had a friend who was one of the show directors for the opening ceremony of the Olympics. And I remember watching it going, what a gig. The entire world is watching this.
That's what I want. Yeah, I want that.
Okay.
That's what I want.
Set that low. I like that. Also in the group, Aaron Clevenger asked, have you been inspired at all by the quarantine? And would you incorporate this moment in time into your performance moving forward?
Is that for both of us?
Yeah,
because I know Aaron, and hi Aaron, I love you so much.
Weird story. I actually knew Aaron. We were in the same fraternity in college.
That's right. That's right.
And I was not out of the closet and a frat boy.
Oh Lord.
I think eventually there will be some shows that will come out of this. I'll be honest with you, like artistically, I've just been a little bit like trying to understand a new process and just like putting things in places and just knowing that like, wait, do you have COVID?
No, girl. Oh my coffee. I got an air bubble.
See, this is what I've been. Like, every day I wake up, I have fibromyalgia. I hurt, and I'm like, oh my God, do I have a temperature? I might have COVID. Oh my God, are you coughing? You might have COVID.
Yeah.
Like,
It is very shitty to have a pandemic during allergy season. That's like,
I know, right?
So have you been in a store? Have you been in a store when somebody either sneezes or coughs?
Oh yeah.
How crazy the people around them get? Everybody's like, oh no, we gotta go.
I will say I was in New York like the last weekend of February. So right as COVID was like becoming a thing for America. And I went to see a couple Broadway shows, and it was very different than ever because in every Broadway show, there's a moment in the silence where somebody coughs. But in this one, every time it happened, everybody was like.
No, I thought it was a joke. Like I was like, when my first, I remember I worked that last Saturday. Blue, you were there. No, you weren't there yet.
I was not. No, remember? No. I fell down my face.
Yeah. But I wasn't supposed to work that Saturday, and I remember going to work, and my whole week in Canada had gotten canceled, and I was like, the whole night, I'm like, this is so stupid, this disease, and this isn't nothing. We just get some hand sanitizer. This is from China. Nothing's gonna happen. I don't know why the news is overdoing this and blah blah. Like a week later, I'm like, whoa.
This is life now. Oh,
I never thought it was a joke. But I was like, it's not here. Why are they taking they were like, oh, well, because the first precaution for Canada was we're not going to do a meet and greet. It's going to be very like, hi, how are you? A hello, something. And it progressively got, well, no, now we can't do the gig because the school is closed and the bar is closed or whatever. And I was like, this is stupid. This isn't anything. I don't care about meeting people. I'm still going to meet them, and not thinking that this would ever have happened.
Absolutely.
You know, and I agree with you. And if we can kind of just like touch base on that for a second, Rob, if we have that kind of conversation, it's important because, in Orlando, we're lucky. We are lucky because, everyone hopefully is staying safe. And, if we keep doing that, then our numbers will continue to go down and so on and so forth. But we don't know. We don't know. But I was talking to a couple of my kids and friends in New York City, and you have to remember that this world pandemic is absolutely like Roxxxy's saying, at first we were like, oh, whatever, let's shut down 2 weeks, we'll be back to normal, everything will be fine, hand sanitizer, all is well. And then you look up and you realize that the world is in a situation that we have never been in before. And it's daunting, and it's real, and we have to take care of each other, and we have to protect one another, and it is up to the people to congregate and stay safe. If we don't stay safe, then we're going to be doing this for a long time. And when I was
just
talking,
feel like there's still people out there that think it's not serious.
Yeah.
We're not going to get it. The numbers statistically are like 1 out of whatever. I'm not going to get it. It's like, no, you can't think like that. Just stay home. Like, and I was one of those people in the beginning, before we closed down for 2 weeks. That's when I was like, okay, shit's serious. We're closing down the state and the country for 2 weeks. What?
Back when we
That's
thought
when
it was like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, good.
Oh, I was just going to say, someone in the group asked this question for the two of you. What do you think is going to be the best way to handle clubs and opening the clubs and getting together? We're all people who perform and thrive in those kind of environments that are about collecting people. So what do you see ahead in the future for that?
I have thought this is where I try not to go every day in my mind when I'm sleeping, because that's when I'm like, people are like, how are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I'm good. I was with Angelica today, and Tasha Long called us, and she's like, how are you guys doing? Like mentally and stuff. And we're both like, oh, we're good. But it's that laying at night at sleep or laying in bed at night. Laying in bed at night, it's like, your mind starts going like it naturally does. If it's not a relationship or whatever drama, I'm thinking about this, and I'm like, when are we going to get back to work? How long is this going to last? How many more people are going to die? Are we the next boom city? Like, because people are not paying attention, and that kind of stuff is just is crazy to me. I don't know how we're going to open up the clubs, because if we're going to be social distancing, as much as I want to see everybody and those people, hey girl, but that's the one thing I want to do. But right now, we get money, we get tips, like that's not clean.
Right, taking money from strangers.
How disrespectful for me to wear a pair of gloves and take your money. Like, that means, you're willing to give me your money, and now I'm like wearing gloves. That just doesn't seem right. And, at a bar, we're on a dance floor and sweating and touching and, hey, girl, giving kisses. I feel like that's all going to change. I don't know.
Yeah.
It absolutely will. I mean, you have to think, how we got here to this point. We absolutely kind of have to work backwards. But at the end of the day, the choreography is very difficult in the respect of how do we orchestrate people waiting in line to get into the bar, and how many people is that now? And occupancy levels have to change. And then you have to say, so now you can come in, and how are we going to social distance? And do we have like specific places on a dance floor for people to stay? Like, there's so much that honestly, like if I had to say that, I think I don't think that any gatherings over maybe 100, 200 people will even happen until next year. Like, it doesn't make sense. And I don't feel like anybody that's
worked backwards, like how we got into this. It's going to be the same thing. It was like, okay, well, no more than 250 people, no more than 100 people, no more than 50 people, gradually.
Yeah, because even think of like when they closed Broadway. Broadway started with, oh, we're still going to stay open, but houses are cut in half. And then they're like, oh, no, houses are down to 100 people. And then they're like, no, we're closed. And, we went through that in theme park world of like, oh, just we have to reduce. And then it was like, no, we just can't open at all. And so it's all a very...
Speaking of, Rob, can we just like take a second and like ask how you're doing with all of that? I mean, you kind of like had this great transition as far as like being an artist, and then you were at Disney and you had like this wonderful job and you were starting this new part of your life. And then this comes, like, how are you?
If I think about it too much, it stresses me out, right? Because, we're all artists. We're all people who exist, and we love to create shows and events and experiences for people. And as that, anyone who is a successful artist usually has their struggle on their way there. and usually has those moments where they're like, why is this what I want to do? Why couldn't I just be a banker and like be in an industry that always has money? So like, you know, I had my definite struggles. You were there for a lot of them, Blue. But like, you know, we all had our times where we were like down. And so for me, I worked my way to get to a successful place and to get into an industry where I get to create art, but I get to do it in a corporate environment, which is a very interesting world as it is. And so to have made as much progress as I have and then have it all halted right now, unknown, is absolutely stressful. But I also
I'm fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah, but I also, because I've had those struggles, I kind of like, I feel like I know it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh, I've been there. I've been through it. If we end up going back there, fine. I know how to climb out of it again. I know now from being there before that I'm like, I know what kind of people are the right people to bring into my world to support that, you know, emotionally when you need that. Like you learn that as an artist. Like if you are a successful artist, you've been through the shit and you learn who are the right people to befriend and what are the ways to climb your way out. So I have that part of me that I'm like, if tomorrow they go, theme parks are just dead, they're never reopening, which isn't something that's going to happen. But then I go, you know what? I've also done but everything I do is entertainment. So I'm like, I do need entertainment to come back.
Those are the two things that are the hardest. I think they're going to be like the last things,
right?
Theme parks and bars.
It's the industry
restaurants can open at half or quarter capacity, and the servers, you know, half of them still have a little job here and there making something.
Right.
The mall can even open up and people social distance and, you know, not as many people in the store, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But the bar and the Disney, I just don't, you know, Disney's probably got Mickey Mouse 6 feet banners throughout the whole thing already. Ready for it.
But even still, like, how do you do that? Like, then there's rides, and like people get on the rides, and then you get off the rides. And, like,
what are you gonna sanitize the entire ride?
There's a lot that has to be figured out. Like when you think about it, at any theme park, one of the best parts about going to the theme park as a kid is you see the characters that you love and you run up and you hug them, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, even that, just I can't imagine any theme park opening with a rule of like, you can't hug, you know, you can't go to Universal and you can't hug the farting troll. You know?
But I guess hugging people so much, right?
Yeah, hugs. It's weird because I've been alone. I haven't like hugged people, and I'm a hugger, so it's super. And like even drag queens, you know, you think about like bar performances. Part of the joy of you guys being in the club is we've seen you on Drag Race and we know you as, you know, Roxxxy Andrews, who's here to make it clear. But when we're in the bar, it's the moment
do you have COVID?
Yes, I do. Yes, I have double. I have COVID 42, so it's okay. You know, it's really nasty. But
I remember getting autographs though from Mickey and Minnie and all them, like, and you would bring your little book and pen to them and all that, like.
Yeah. So there's things that are just going to be different. And the same way with drag queens, it's like a drag queen you like is performing. What do you do when you're in a club? You push through the crowd. You find your way to the front of the stage. You reach up. Some people put that dollar bill in their mouth.
I have never done that.
Hopefully this will stop that. No.
I have never done that. And I would feel so bad after I don't do it every single time. I feel so bad. And I'm like, I literally grabbed the dollar as I kissed them on the cheek.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm like, no, I'm not grabbing that dollar with my mouth.
Do not put dollar bills in your mouth.
That has always fascinated me about the clubs that people do that they're like, and then the drag queen's gonna come take it out of my mouth.
Oh my
like, nobody wants this moment. Thank you.
No.
I'm gonna sanitize that later. I love that. And then in the group, one of the comments is, people like me could never live in a world without amazing, talented artists like you guys. So that's sweet.
Thank you.
That's great.
That's for you guys. So, guys, we're actually at about an hour now, and I said this was going to be an hour-long live, so we can wrap it up soon. But it's just been fun to chat with you guys.
Yes.
I love this.
Yeah.
This is also part of like when we were talking about like theme parks, who knows how long it's going to be till they open, bars, who knows how long it's going to be till they open. This is kind of what most of us have been doing, is adjusting to this new visual world. And it's so different, this world of like doing live feeds and talking to each other. I've been hosting a few because I do my happy hour on Thursday nights and I do this. It's so like out of my element to just talk without feedback from an audience that it's been really interesting. Like in some respects it's been like really frustrating, but in others it's kind of cool too, to learn a whole new skill and how we entertain without
it's crazy how we evolve, because there's drag queens now and entertainers, and I always say drag queens, but by drag queens I mean like everybody. Is that weird?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
like
queer entertainers of all kinds. Yeah,
how they're evolving on the computer. Like, oh well, we can't be on stage, watch this, and they're like getting on their programs and learning how to make music videos, and I feel like a whole new era of people that like enjoy it and are gonna now want to be a part of something else, like maybe production. Or I really loved editing all those videos when I was in quarantine. Let me get into that and go back to school and learn how to do that. Like that's what I love about all this.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think is really cool about all these like digital drag shows that are happening now and all that too, is you can see a drag show that has queens from all over the world now in one place, right? And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Like, you think about it, unless they were like drag queens who are touring the world, there's really not a drag show that you see that's like this girl from Chicago and this girl from New York and this girl from here, and now they're all coming together and performing for you. So that's been a cool evolution to see it. And always figuring out, like, are we going to be able to hear their music? Is their screen going to freeze?
If you don't watch it live, you're not going to see the feedback because Facebook is just shutting it down.
Right. You're like, you got to watch it when it happens because they don't like this music that we're using.
They're getting it cut. Don't do Beyonce, Mariah, Whitney, any of that. It's getting cut.
It all just cut right away. We did Stay In with Pride last night. It was our second one, and it was great. Like, all the performers were so good. But right at the end, DJ Scott Robert did an amazing DJ set of fun songs, and it was like the last 10 minutes Facebook shut us down for copyright. And I'm like, damn it.
Like, come on, we're in a pandemic. Like, leave us alone. Like,
can we just borrow the music for this whole pandemic?
Time out.
Like, just let us have this for a second.
It's our one thing.
Ah.
Yeah. We just want to easily go live. All the people will evolve on that too. They'll just start singing.
Yeah, that's true.
Do our live show. And DJ Brianna's in there, and she says performing online as a performer, queen, or DJ, it's not the same, but it's the new temporary. Queens don't grab tips. DJs can see, and DJs can't see the floor reactions. And it's true. This is the new normal for now, right? I can't wait to where we can have those moments. But at least this is something, right?
Yeah.
In some way. And really, if you think about it, there's no other place where like even the three of us would be able to sit down and just do a chat show, because we'd always be like, oh, I got this gig and this gig, and we can't do you know what I mean? So for us to be like, we're gonna sit in our little offices, turn on our lights, and just chat.
And just chat and talk to people. People come ask questions.
So there's some cool things that we're working out. So listen, you guys, I want to thank you both for coming on. It's great to get to talk to my friends, but also like legends in the LGBT community, and it makes me happy to see you guys. Next week, we're going to be back with another Rob and the Queens, and our guests are going to be also from 2 seasons of Drag Race. We'll have Ginger Minge and her friend Laura are going to be on. I hope you guys will tune in for that. And then follow at Roxxxy Andrews and at Blue Star, because they've got all kinds of cool things going on. You could buy some of Roxy's drag online. I've been watching when you've been doing that.
I finally have time. And that's the thing. I was like, oh, I have time to sell drag. Let me get rid of all this stuff. And girl, they started being like, how much is that wig in the back? And how much is that wig in the back? And I'm like, I'm a businessman. So
all right.
You want to buy it? Okay.
Okay.
They want me bald.
You're just gonna have to walk out a little off the velour style, throw some rose petals.
That part.
I love that. So I love you guys. Thank you for joining on the show.
I love you. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Thank you all for tuning in. Catch us back here Thursday night. You can see Isolation Happy Hour at 7 o'clock, and then I'll be back on Sunday night at 9 o'clock for Rob and the Queens with Ginger Minge and Gidget Galore. Thank you again to Blue Star and Roxxxy Andrews.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
And